I should unmute myself. That might help. That might help. I totally started the show with my mic muted. All right, that was wise. What I was saying was that Rockfin was first. I mean, first I was saying, all right, we're waiting for everything to wake up. Honestly, you guys didn't miss anything. You really didn't. I mean, it was just me going like, well, I guess we're waiting because that's. I mean, there's just that awkward moment where I have to make sure everything is awake and everything is streaming. I love it when people complain about that. People can just like, oh my god, it's like, dude, we have to we have to wait for it to load. I don't have a producer to go, we're live. I don't have one of those. So I gotta see it. I gotta see it so that I can believe it. What's up, everybody? Sorry for the muted start. But again, I was just saying, what I did say was that Rockfin woke up first. Rockfin beat out YouTube today. And you guys know I like when that happens because YouTube frustrates me a lot. Which, by the way, make sure you're subscribed. We've been losing a fair amount of subscribers. I'm sure some of it is just people who wanted to unsubscribe, but I have a feeling some of it might be they're unsubscribing people. So, complaining about the platform probably doesn't help that. So please make sure you're subscribed to this channel if you want to be subscribed. Please check your subscription. Make sure you are, in fact, still subscribed. Ring the bell. Make sure you're subscribed. That's all I'm saying. If you don't want to be subscribed, then, I mean, I don't know why you're watching this right now, but yeah, you get it. Anyway, this is the patrons / Rockfin premium stream. This is the stream that goes out initially to everybody, but the replay is only available on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. And I respond to stuff that the patrons and Rockfin Premium members submit. Oh, and if you want to ask me something, please do leave a super chat or Rockfin tip, and I will get to as many questions as I can. And that's what we do here. This is laid back. This is fun. This is chill. This is not planned. Nothing here is planned. This is the unplanned stream. Good to see everybody. I just got done doing my laundry. Huh? How's that for feeling? I feel accomplished right now. I did my freaking laundry as soon as I woke up. I woke up and I was like, laundry. Yeah. And then Lucy was kind of like, I'm licking myself. And I'm like, I'm going to do laundry. And she's like, I'm going to run outside. And I was like, I'd prefer you didn't. By the way, I'm looking around for her. I don't know where she went. She's running around somewhere. But I got a harness for her. It should be coming in the mail shortly. Lucy used to let me walk her. And then she just lost interest. Like she used to let me, I put her on a leash and I walked her. Then she just totally lost interest. And then I started doing it again and she was kind of into it. Then she just completely lost interest again. And as of recent, she's been kind of running outside. I don't know why. There's something that intrigues her outside. I'm really not quite sure why, because there's a lot of dogs in my apartment complex. Like my neighbor has a dog, and there's just a lot of dogs everywhere. And she does not like dogs, so I don't know why she's like, I got to get closer to these dogs. Yeah, that's what I need more of in my life. These dogs that I'm terrified of. But but either way, she's been running out. She's been kind of just running out. She doesn't like to go anywhere. She just likes to sniff around. So I thought, okay, we'll do this, but you got to have a little harness, a little harness. That's what you need. Um, and so that's what I'm doing. Lucy is gonna. I'll let you guys know how it works. um, So we'll see. We'll see how that works. But I'm excited to walk her. Again, we used to do it. Walking a cat is a little bit different than walking a dog, at least in my experience. Like you basically you just the best way to do it is and they actually make these where you just have those like extendable leashes and you just like the cat just sort of like roams around and then they sort of just come back. Like you don't really walk them per se quite like a dog. But you just kind of like take them outside, have them on the leash, let them walk around and sniff. And that's how you do it. So it's a lot of fun actually. I used to love doing it with Lucy, but so there you go. Gonna walk Lucy. And yeah, some of you guys are mentioning that you were unsubscribed. Yeah, make sure you're still subscribed to this channel. Please do make sure you're still subscribed. Because I'm pretty sure they gotta be unsubscribing people. I got some cat hair on my face, by the way. Or maybe it's like some laundry dander or something. I don't know. But yeah. Anyway, so did laundry, gonna be walking the cat. That's the news so far. Again, this is the patrons Rockford Premium stream. It's the casual stream. All right. I got nothing prepared. I got nothing as far as the news is concerned. We can talk about what you guys want to talk about, what the patrons want to talk about. And I'm gonna go there right now. George, what's up? Podcast by George, which, by the way, Podcast by George is a living testament that the theme songs that I make for patrons and Rockford Premium members, which, by the way, if you want your own theme song, patreon.com/romplacone, give what you can level. George is living proof that the theme songs freaking work. George had me do a theme song for him for his show. I did it. And a couple weeks later, there was one of George's friends. His kids were rocking out to George's theme song. They were singing the theme song. George got 2 new fans because of that theme song. And they were his friends' kids. They're singing it. He said it to George. He's like, dude, look at this. The Ron themes work. Just saying. They work. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. I've done theme songs for other podcasts. I've done theme songs for bookstores. I've done theme songs for radio commercials. I've done theme songs for couples. I've done theme songs for just people who like to party. I've done theme songs for people and their pets. I've done theme songs for people's ciggos. I've done theme songs for, yeah, you get the idea. And if you want your own theme song, makes a great holiday gift. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. You get all that for a give what you can level. Whatever you're comfortable giving monthly, even if it's just $1, that still goes a long way. I'm trying to build a community. So if $1 a month is all you're comfortable with, that's great. If you're comfortable with more than that, it's an amount you won't miss. That's great too. And I wonder if I should revamp some of the house tours. It might be time. It might be time to maybe do some house tours again. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do some more house shows? I really like those. I haven't done them I mean, obviously with the pandemic, that didn't happen. Like 2020, there were no house shows, and 2021, we canceled our tour in October, which sucks. It really sucks. I mean, we did the right thing. I'm pretty. I mean, doing 3 weeks, a different town each night with the state of the world just would not have been great. I mean, I was just exposed recently and had to go get tested for COVID, and I tested negative. You guys probably saw the videos on that. I did test negative, which is great. But yeah, just going from city to city, if something would happen or if someone got sick, and then we'd have to quarantine. I mean, it's just the world, folks. The world is a freaking nightmare. The world is a freaking nightmare. It really is. And yes, I am on Rockfin. For those of you who are asking, I am on Rockfin. The replay of the stream will only be available for patrons and Rockfin Premium members. But let's get to what the patrons are saying. I just started. Here's what George said. By the way, George, Testament theme songs work. Yo, Ron, what up, George? As predicted, the deficit hawks are now coming out of the woodwork big time, telling us we can't afford spending that benefits instead of spending that kills. MMT, common sense, and repeated history shows them to be wrong, ? Interesting question. George, of course that's not the case. The deficit hawks are 100% right. They get it. They get it. They're like, we can't possibly afford this library, but we have no problem funding these bombs. They're just real life villains. Do you ever notice that? Like, they're just like, we can't, we really got to cut this funding for the arts, what little we put into it. We can't afford this, but yeah, we got plenty of bomb money. We got plenty of empire money. That money never runs out. Somehow, how does that add up? Well, learn MMT, and that's how it adds up. Um, but it's still worth pointing out, in my opinion, that we don't even utilize the resources that we do have in circulation the right way. I mean, it's remarkable. We could not do a pie chart of our spending in the United States because it would just be a big old circle that said military and then one little sliver that just said everything else. In other countries, they actually have pie charts to tell you where they spend all their money. And they're like, this is spent on education. This is spent on healthcare. This is spent on the arts. This is spent on, parks. This is spent on defense. And by the way, their defense thing is a lot freaking smaller than the United States. A lot smaller. I was at the immigration center in Scotland, and I got to see their pie chart, and I was like, we couldn't have something like this in the United States. We wouldn't be able to have that because it would just say military, bombs, little sliver, everything else. Everything else. And by the way, you look at MMT, there's no such thing as can we pay for it. And the only thing that causes inflation is shitty policy. Shitty policy and catastrophe. Those are the only things that cause inflation. Creating currency to get something like universal health care, to get something like a Green New Deal, that on its own would not cause inflation. Inflation would only happen if we had shitty policies around it or if we had some kind of crazy catastrophe. And you can read Stephanie Kilton's book, The Deficit Myth. It breaks all that down in a lot greater detail and explains how that's the case. So that's how it goes. So let me see what else you were talking about here. Yeah, no one ever asked that question. They're like, "Well, why do we always have bond money? Why is that the case? Why can we always avoid?" It's because like they just never have a problem creating the currency when Wall Street benefits from it. That's why they never have a problem, finding the money when that's the case. But somehow, oh, how are we going to afford universal health care? How are we going to afford this? How are we going to afford that? We can afford it many times over. First of all, we could afford it just with all the resources we already have in circulation. Medicare for all would save us money over time. We're already spending more on healthcare than we would spend if we had Medicare for all. The only difference is you'd be paying the government instead of paying a for-profit middleman. That's the only difference. And for some reason, the media kept parroting the whole "it'll make your taxes higher." They kept parroting that misleading. It was just a misleading figure. Like, it was just totally misleading because it's like, yeah, technically your taxes would be higher because you're paying healthcare as part of your taxes instead of just paying an insurance company. So yes, by definition, your taxes would be higher than they are now. But all those healthcare bills you have that you pay elsewhere, you wouldn't be paying those. So overall, you would be paying less for better healthcare. You would just be paying a different entity. But they kept reporting that misinformation, that misleading misinformation. That's not a straight up lie, but it's a distortion of reality. And they know. I mean, I just explained it in 15 seconds. They know what they were doing. And that's a testament to how freaking corrupt our media is, that they would deliberately lie to the American people about the fact that Medicare for all saves money. They just lied to you about it. And Bernie Sanders was the only person on the campaign trail that would go against that. And he didn't go against it as hard as he needed to. I mean, he should have just had that on autopilot and just repeated it every time. But I guess, when people repeat a lie so many freaking times, eventually it sinks in. Eventually it just freaking sinks in. So, yeah. All right. What else oh yeah, and George, you sent me a link, but it didn't work. You sent me a link from the Des Moines Register, but it did not work. It just took me to this generic page kind of. So, yeah. I don't know. You'll have to resend it if you see this between now and then. And I will hit the refresh so I can refresh it. But yeah. So I didn't see that. But yeah, whenever someone says we can't afford this, that's a bunch of bullshit. Oh, by the way, we're seeing it already again with the infrastructure bills. The infrastructure bill, which there's a 3.5 trillion bill, which has some okay things in it, nowhere near enough, but some okay things in it. And the $1 trillion bill, which is a complete corporate giveaway and a straight, quite frankly, a neo-fascist bill. There's some ideas in that bill to completely privatize our roads and start charging people per mile. As a touring performer, that would completely gut my ability to do my job. And it would also be putting the burden on working people and, well, padding the pockets of a bunch of private entities. Oh, and who was the big pioneer behind this idea? Pete Buttigieg. Pete Buttigieg. That's why, I mean, I did a short video on it where I described like the GOP. The GOP is a straight up neo-fascist party. Like their platform is literally neo-fascist because fascism, which can be traced back to Mussolini, means a complete marriage between the corporation and the state and complete privatization for the corporation. That's what the GOP is all about. That's the GOP. And a lot of Democrats are also neo-fascists. Joe Biden, by definition, a neo-fascist. Pete Buttigieg, by definition, a neo-fascist. I just described that road thing. That is a neo-fascist idea. And Democrats as a party are more neoliberal. What does that mean? That means laissez-faire capitalism. That means no regulation. That means kind of just let the market do what it wants. But you're not as blunt as the neo-fascists. But neoliberalism leads to neo-fascism 100% of the time, and vice versa. And we're stuck in this folly between neoliberalism and neo-fascism, and it needs to break. So whenever people are having the conversation about the lesser evil and they're jerking off over what the lesser evil is, they're having the wrong conversation. The conversation they should be having is these two entities aren't all that different. They're not different enough. And because of that, nothing actually changes. And the reason they're not different enough is because they have the same owners. And those owners know how to get whatever they want, no matter what. So we're in a volley between neoliberalism and neo-fascism. And that's our system. And it needs to be broken. There's no other option. So, yeah. Oh, that $1 trillion thing really pisses me off. And so thank you for that, George. Edwin, I love your question. Edwin switches gears here. Edwin says, it's been a few months since I asked, what music should I be checking out right now? Wonderful question, Edwin. Wonderful, wonderful question. And I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to use that question to give a shameless self-plug. Sorry, but since you asked, I got to let everyone know that on Saturday night, what are you doing Saturday night? You got plans? Well, here's something you can listen to while you take those plans, do those plans, take those plans. The fuck does that mean? Sorry. Well, you do your plans. Are you doing your plans? Or if you don't have plans, you do now, sort of. I don't know if this qualifies as an activity, but here's the deal. My music special on Modern Retro Radio is re-airing. I did a second special for them. It aired last week. They are re-airing it this Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. I think I might have mixed up the time yesterday because they were listing it in Central Time, and I got thrown off. But 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, they are re-airing my special. All you got to do is go to modernretroradio.com and just tune in. And if you tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, you will hear my special. And it's a little bit of punk, a little bit of hip-hop, a little bit of folk, a little bit of rock and roll. It's my first special was pretty punk heavy. They wanted something more punk exclusive. This is a little bit everything. It's hip hop that I've been listening to. It's and the other hook here, Modern Retro Radio, their hook is that all the music has been made within the past 5 years. So pretty much everything that I share, it's new music, you know. So yeah, it's new music. So please check that special out. And I hope you like it. As far as some of the newer bands I've been listening to, and some of these bands are going to be on that special on Saturday, but I'll shout out a few now. I've been listening to the Beat Seekers, which was a viewer turned me on to them, so thank you for that. I've been listening to Hot Lips Messiah. I've been listening to David Rovics. Um, I've been listening to Jeremy and the Harlequins. I've been listening to the Dolly Rots. I've been listening to the Horror Pops. I've been listening to Bleached. They're a good band. I've been listening to the Darts. I like the Darts a lot. I've been listening to the Hold Steady a good bit. Hold Steady. You ever have one of those bands that you just kind of listen to every day? The Hold Steady is one of those bands for me. I listen to the Hold Steady pretty much every day, and I know some of you are Hold Steady fans as well. And I highly recommend their drummer, or she's drummer, God, their keyboardist Franz just released his first novel, and I was looking over at it because I have it on my shelf here. Someone Should Pay for Your Pain. I want to make sure I got the title right. It's called Someone Should Pay for Your Pain. It's a novel. We'll have to have Franz back on the show to talk about it. I just I have a hard time I have a hard time interviewing authors because whenever I interview authors, it's always like a book I really liked. So I just don't feel like they're my better interviews because I just want to talk about the book, but I don't want to give anything away. So it's usually just me going, "This book's great," and I have a hard time with that. I feel like those aren't. I struggle interviewing authors. You know what I mean? Like interviewing musicians. Like you talk music, you talk their songs, and you set up the music. Those are some of my favorite interviews to do. I love interviewing musicians. Um, and then of course interviewing people running for office. That's not my favorite thing to do. Although I do see the value in it and hearing from people, letting them say their thing. I like interviewing activists and radical academics and other comedians, and I like collaborating with other content creators. But authors, I like interviewing authors. I feel like I'm not that good at it. I feel like I just don't. I feel like there's a certain formula to having a good interview with an author, and I feel like I haven't cracked it yet. And I don't think I'm alone. I actually think most of the interviews I see with authors are really bad. And I think a lot of it's because it's like, well, you want to interview, like you want to talk about the book, but you don't want to give anything away. So that's a hard line to walk. And I feel like a lot of people, they're not good at walking that line. Myself included. I feel like I've fucked it up walking that line before. I mean, I've interviewed authors before and I kind of felt like, man, I mean, unless their book is like theory or something like that, then it's like a little different because you're more talking about ideas more so than the book itself. But yeah, anyway. But I'm definitely gonna interview Franz anyway. And I want to talk about his book. Hopefully he'll come back on the show. And I don't know, maybe I'll study some interviews with authors where I feel like they got it right. And I'll be like, okay, so what did they do that I'm not doing? What's different between what they're doing and you know what I mean? Like kind of just like absorb what they're doing. And that's what I'll do. That is what I'll do. All right. I'm going to go over to the Rockfin first. Thank you to George and Edwin. And I'm going to go over to the Rockfin first to see what's going on there. Alexander, what's up? Alexander, thank you so much for this week's challenge. Alexander always gives me a challenge every week, and it's always a handful of artists that have something in common name-wise. And this is an awesome theme. So this week's theme is seasons. And kudos to Alexander. These are very creative, Alexander. I tip my hat to you. Because at first I was like, what's the theme here? And then I was like, oh, I get it. So these are all names of artists that have connections with seasons. And then I have to pick my favorite one out of them. And here it goes. Edgar Winter, Bruce Springsteen, Donna Summer, or Fall Out Boy. For those of you who know me, or who have at least heard me talk music a fair amount, you know that this is a no-brainer for me. Don't even need to miss a beat. Don't even need to blink. Bruce Springsteen. I love Springsteen. I'm a huge Springsteen guy. I have always loved Bruce Springsteen. I grew up with his music. I'm not from Jersey, but I'm from Pennsylvania. So I really relate to his music. I really relate to the way he paints the picture of the Rust Belt and wanting more and wanting to just I really feel like Jon Stewart really did sum it up very well when he was interviewing Springsteen and what Springsteen meant to him, and what he said, and I don't think like anyone's ever said it better. He said, "You taught me it's okay to want more." And I feel like that's a really like people who like Bruce Springsteen, who really connect with Bruce Springsteen and what he's all about. Um, I feel like that's like the best lesson. That's like the coolest lesson, and I gotta tip my hat to Jon Stewart. I don't agree with everything Jon Stewart has said or done, but, talking strictly Springsteen, I feel like he summed it up very, very well, and, uh, and I just love the music. I really do. Um, you know, I, So yeah, Bruce Springsteen. And you know who I like even more as far as like an inspiration on me, somebody else who I really just as the years go by, I just connect with more and more and I appreciate little more and more is Little Steven Van Zandt. I really love what that guy is all about. And I really love the fact that he, just blossomed into an actor and a screenwriter. And his show Lilyhammer, I actually really enjoyed. And he has a label, and he has a channel on XM. Which, if you have Sirius XM, Little Steven's Underground Garage, in my opinion, is by far the best channel on SiriusXM. By far. It is such a cool channel. The shows on there are just top notch. And it's really one of the few standing pillars of what it means to really make radio. Of what it means to really have a disc jockey that's creating a playlist. And it's so much more than just putting a bunch of good songs together. There's a theme and there's thought behind it, and there's music that they want to introduce you to. And there's times where you just throw in a classic at just the right time. And that's what it means to be a true mixologist. And that, sadly, for a number of reasons, is a lost art form. That's a dying thing in our society. That's something that even I mean, that's before my time. People my age, we had to seek that stuff out. So by the time I was, coming up, that sort of thing only existed in community radio or something like that. And you had to seek it out. But it does still exist, and it's in places like Little Steven's Underground Garage on XM. So it's a dying thing, and the generation after me, like the Gen Z and stuff like that, I don't know if they care about that stuff at all, because I don't know if it's something they ever were able to be exposed to. You know what I mean? And, I accept the world we live in. We live in a world now where Spotify will just curate a playlist for you, where, Pandora will just curate a playlist for you. That's the world we live in. And, there's nothing, hey, sweetie, Lucy's here. The technology isn't going away. So you either got to just accept it and embrace it, or you're going to be left out in the cold. So I get it. But there's something missing from that human touch. Nod to Springsteen, by the way, of having a curated playlist by a person who's trying to tell you something and trying to communicate something through music. That's a very special thing. And some of you guys are giving shout outs to Rodney Bingenheimer. Exactly. That's kind of what I'm referring to. If you don't know what I'm referring to, if you're like, I don't even know what Ron means by that, check out Little Steven's Underground Garage and check out Rodney Bingenheimer's show. That's what it means. That's what it means. Some of you guys are also giving shout outs to WFMU, WFUV. Yeah, so it does still exist, but it's like, it's one of those things. Like, you really have to dig for it. You really have to dig for it. And a lot of those outlets, like the community radio stations that are still thriving, they're still thriving because people care about the way they curate music and they know that they care about music. And they're also thriving because they've adapted to new technology. They don't just broadcast over the air and cross their fingers and hope for the best. They're on YouTube. They're on different platforms. They're podcasting. They understand that they're not in the business of radio. They're in the business of content because the business of radio is really a dying thing. It really is. I mean, terrestrial radio is pretty much. I mean, it's not dead yet, but it's dying. And as more and more people realize how to get a podcast on their car, as more and more people realize that there are choices. And by the way, part of the reason terrestrial radio is in such bad shape is because of their own making. They freaking homogenized programming thanks to the Telecommunications Act in 1996. Thank you, Bill Clinton. They homogenized radio. They gutted it. They took away everything that made it unique, and they ruined it. And that's part of the reason. I think that had radio stayed true to what radio is supposed to be about, which is supposed to be a local medium. It's supposed to be a local medium with like deliberative aspects. What I mean by that is that people call in, people engage in their community. Had radio done that, stayed true to what it's supposed to be about, I honestly think it would be in better shape right now, even factoring in technology. Lucy's playing in a bag. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but Lucy's messing around with a bag. But I really do feel that way. I mean, radio would still be hurting because of new technology. That's inevitable. But I really feel like if radio stayed local and engaging and community centric and having actual mixologists on the dials, having local personalities instead of the homogenized bullshit that Clear Channel did, thanks to Bill Clinton and the Telecom Act in 96, I honestly think radio would still be in better shape, especially if they adapted, and still did podcasts, still did YouTube, still did all those other things. I think had that happened across the country, things like KEXP and WFMU and Little Steven's Underground Garage, things like that would be the norm instead of the exception. So would radio be what it was in the 80s and 90s? No, it wouldn't be. But it would be in better shape than it is now. I do firmly believe that. How the hell did we get off on that? Oh, yeah, because it's pretty. But no, I really do. Little Steven is, yeah, I really love that guy. I really love that guy. And I really wish I could have a show on Little Steven's Underground Garage. Write them. Please, if you're a Sirius XM subscriber, please write them. Request that I be given a show. I would love to have a music show on that channel. I think that would be so freaking fun. So write them and let them know. Be like, Little Steven's Underground Garage. Bring in Ron Placone as a DJ. Give him a weekly. See how it goes. And Alexandra, you say, I know you knew that was going to be my answer. And it's Bruce Springsteen's birthday today. That's cool. Happy birthday, Bruce. Alexandra also says, I listened to Ron's Modern Retro Radio show last week. I recommend it. Thank you very much for that, Alexandra. Thank you so much. And yeah, again, folks, Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, modernretroradio.com. All you got to do is just go to modernretroradio.com, tune in at that time, and just listen to my special. It's my second special. My first one aired, gosh, that was like a while ago, at least 6 months ago. My first one aired. This is my second one. And this one's a little different. It's the first one was a punk special. It was exclusively punk rock music. This one is just kind of what I've been listening to. So there's a little bit of hip hop. There's a little bit of folk. There's a little bit of punk. There's a little bit of rock and roll. There's a little bit of some music that's been a little bit more successful in the mainstream. Some music that hasn't been successful in the mainstream at all. So check it out. Check it out. And yeah, I'm glad we got off on music. This is for anyone tuning in a little later. This is the Patrons and Rockfin Premium stream. This stream goes out to everybody, but the replay of it is only available on Patreon and Rockfin Premium. And if you're thinking, Ron, I want to become a patron, Patreon.com/Ron Placone. For a give what you can level, you get the replay of this stream and all the other patron streams. You get Zoom shows. I do regular Zoom shows for my patrons, and you can get your own theme song. There's also stand-up videos not available anywhere else. There's all kinds of fun stuff, and it's all for a give what you can level. Please do consider it, because YouTube messes with me all the time, constantly. So without the Rockford Premium, without the Patreon, this show couldn't exist. So if you like what I do here and you want to help keep it on the air, Patreon.com/Ron Placone. All right, let me go. Thank you for that challenge, Alexander. Thank you very much. Doc Terminus, what's up, buddy? How are you? Good to see you. You say Clear Channel made me laugh, Ron. Every time I got back to visit Pittsburgh, you're going to hear Rooster and Donnie Iris in the first 20 minutes. Yes, that is the truth. Although I got to admit, if I'm being honest, Aaliyah is definitely that's a jam, man. I will, and I know, Doc, I'm pretty sure you still live in Pittsburgh. So you might be rolling your eyes at me right now, and I don't blame you if you are. I get it, because some of my friends that still live in Pittsburgh, when I'm visiting or I'm just like with them, if we're driving around and Donnie Iris comes on and I turn it up, they're like, dude, really? Do you freaking, I mean, we get it, Ron, you're visiting, but this is every day for us. Do you have, and I'm like, come on, this is a jam. This is a freaking banger. When I was, the last time the Penguins won the Stanley Cup, I was in Chicago when it happened, and I was at a Pittsburgh sports bar celebrating, and I thought, man, someone's got to put Aaliyah on the jukebox. And then, they'll be confusing. My wife was with me and her cousin who lives in Chicago, and they were both very confused by everything they were witnessing. All this Pittsburgh-centric music, all this, and the fact that I knew what was going on. They're like, what the? But man, no one put Aaliyah on the jukebox. Someone needed to. Oh, Doc, you said you're out. You said that you're not, you don't live in Pittsburgh anymore, but it's inevitable. It is inevitable. Yeah, you hear Donnie Iris, and then you hear AC/DC every third song. And yeah, that's Clear Channel. They have a little bit of localism seeped in there via Donnie Iris in Pittsburgh, but that's about it. But Aaliyah is his other hit. I don't. He only had a couple hits. His other one I don't care for that much. That Love Is Like a Rock or whatever. I never. That song I don't care for. But Aaliyah, that dude's got pipes, man. Dude can sing. And he can still well. I mean, he can still like play that song and sing it. Did you guys know? I realize there's probably a lot of people watching who have no clue who Donnie Iris is, and they're like, "What the fuck is he?" But for those of you that do, Donnie Iris is a successful musician. I mean, he's definitely had a few hits over the years. He's not like a household name by any means, but he is from Western Pennsylvania, and there's not much national success out of Western Pennsylvania as far as music is concerned. It's not the most common thing in the world. So he's he's a pretty big time local celebrity in Pittsburgh, basically, where I'm from. And anyway, the fun fact I was going to share about him, he sells real estate by day. I don't know if anyone, and his business card literally says King Cool, which was his nickname as a musician. And he sells real estate by day in the Pittsburgh area. And I guess it's like helpful for him, because people are like, I want to buy a house from Donnie Iris. Hell yeah. So I bet he probably crushes it in his real estate day job. And then by night, he's a rock and roller. Or at least he was. I don't know how often he plays out anymore. Which, by the way, Pittsburgh, if anyone here, I can't wait to perform in Pittsburgh. I can't wait to perform anywhere. God, this is so fucking sad. Whenever I talk about cities, I'm reminded like, oh yeah, we canceled a 3-week tour. And we did the right thing by doing it. I really do believe that, but that doesn't mean it doesn't still hurt. It fucking hurts. It really fucking hurts. God damn it. So let me see what you guys are saying over Snugs Life. What's up? Thank you for the super chat contribution. I appreciate it very, very much. And you say, hey, Ron, what's up, Snugs? The March for Medicare for All has an action in San Francisco on Saturday, October 30th. I will have the link in the chat. Thank you very much for that, Snugs Life. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for doing your thing up in San Francisco. I appreciate it. Oh, and by the way, San Francisco, we had a lot of fun with you guys a couple weeks back. Graham and I had a blast at our San Francisco show. It's nice that we were able to do a couple shows. I mean, we only did a couple shows. We did San Francisco, Sacramento, and LA, and we had a blast. It was really cool to see all of our friends. It was really cool to have an awesome show. And it's a bummer we're not going to be seeing everybody else, but we cherish the few moments we did have. And I'll be doing some kind of local, some local LA stuff here and there as far as live shows are concerned. But I won't be doing any touring until things get a little better, as far as like getting the pandemic under control. So I'll be back out there likely in 2022. But until then, I'll just be kind of doing some one-offs here and there, mostly local, maybe a little bit of stuff here and there. If it's just sort of like a one show, you just kind of measure the risk, make a judgment call. Yeah. If I dwell on it, it's just going to make me sad, Mark, what's up, buddy? How are you, Mark? Was bummed out when you and Graham canceled your Minneapolis show. So was I. I totally understand. We'll catch you guys another time. Yes, thank you so much. And we will definitely, Minneapolis is on the short list of places to get back to. We love the Minneapolis Madison run. So I will definitely be back. I don't know if it'll be Graham and myself or it'll just be me. I don't know any of that yet. I know that, we're going to be doing more international stuff. So, some of the domestic stuff, it might just be me touring on my own. But yeah, I can guarantee you I will be in Minneapolis as soon as I possibly can be. Minneapolis is one of my favorite cities to perform in. And yeah, I'll be back there. Pittsburgh, Minneapolis, I'll be there. San Francisco, I was just there. So San Francisco, I just saw you a couple weeks ago. But yeah, Minneapolis, Madison, we'll be rescheduling that. Chicago, we'll definitely be rescheduling the Upper Midwest. That's a promise. And we'll be rescheduling as much as we can. At least I will be. But yeah. Yeah, I don't know what all Graham and I will be doing domestically together. It's kind of too early to say. Venetia David, how are you, Venetia? And I believe if I'm not mistaken, you are in the UK, which I'll be seeing you hopefully in 2023. The goal is to tour the UK in 2023. What I'm thinking for next year, guys, is I'm thinking that I'm going to be doing, first of all, I'm going to be doing some cities in the States since we've had to cancel the United States tours for 2 years in a freaking row. So for 2 years now, did not tour the States, was supposed to in 2020, then was going to be doing more international stuff in 2021. Instead, had to cancel the tour dates for 2020, rescheduled them for 2021 to cancel them again. So at this point, just kind of got to move on to other places. Can't keep rescheduling tours, but I'm gonna do as many cities in the States as I can. So I'm going to be doing some cities in the States. I'm going to be doing some stuff up in Canada, I'm going to be doing Montreal, Toronto, probably Ottawa, Vancouver. And where else in Canada do you want to see me? Email me on that one. Because, yeah, email me. Let me know where you want to see me up in Canada. Because 2022, I'm pretty sure, assuming the world continues, or assuming the world gets a little bit better, and we don't have anything else crazy happen, I'm thinking 2022, I'm going to be coming to Canada. And I'm also going to be coming to Edmonton. I got a shout out for Edmonton. Todd, I would love that, man. All right, Edmonton. I got to write that down, actually. I mean, I don't know if I really need to write it down. It's a freaking major city in Canada. But how far is Edmonton from Minneapolis? Could I tag Edmonton to Minneapolis? Could I do could I do like Chicago, Minneapolis, Madison, and then freaking, not necessarily in that order. I'm just naming cities, but then go up to Edmonton. Are those driving? I'm not sure. I will Google Fairly far. Yeah. No, Edmonton's really fucking far. I know that. Yeah, it's kind of out there. But you guys are kind of like Minneapolis in the sense that you guys have um the biggest mall in the world. Isn't it? I think your guys is bigger than the Minneapolis one. Winnipeg, someone gave a shout out to Winnipeg. Winnipeg it is. All right. So yeah, I'm gonna be doing some stuff in Canada next year, which and by the way, you guys are so cool up in Canada. I did a video about your guys' election, which and I'm not an expert in Canadian politics. I know I'm not, and I'm not pretending to be. In fact, I'm still kind of learning about it. But it's intriguing to me. And so I did like a goofy little short video about it, and you guys were so like helpful. Like you sent me resources about your elections and stuff. It was so cool. Nobody was angry about it. Nobody was like, "Don't talk about it. You don't live in Canada, Ron. Shut up." You guys were all like, cool. Like, you're like, "Oh, that's awesome. Thanks for the video. Made us laugh." So I can't wait to tour there in Canada. And the other thing I think I'm going to do, and I don't know if there's any Reykjavik folks here, but I think I'm going to be doing, we'll see. I mean, nothing's cast in stone yet, but I'm leaning towards next year. I'm going to do the Iceland Fringe Festival. We'll see. Nothing's cast in stone yet, but for anyone up in Iceland, I think I might be coming at you in the summertime, and I'm really looking forward to it. But Minnesota Mentat, what's up? And you give a shout out to Minneapolis, St. Paul, baby. Walking across that Grain Belt Bridge in a brand new Minneapolis. Speaking of the Hold Steady, it's a lot of like the Minneapolis lore. I know I do love a lot of the music up in Minneapolis. I was a big fan of the Replacements and a big fan of the Hold Steady, even though they didn't start in Minneapolis. They did start in Brooklyn, but they're Minneapolis. Their roots are Minneapolis. And of course, Prince, obviously. So much good music came out of Minneapolis. So much. And one of my favorite record stores is in Minneapolis, a place called Extreme Noise. That's one of my favorite record stores. And there's another one that's really good too. It's a little like bigger and more what was that? Like cactus something, like elephant cactus or some shit like that. I know I'm messing it up. But it's a pretty successful record store. So you guys know what I mean. You guys definitely know what I mean. So anyway, yeah, Minneapolis is great. And let's see. So let me make sure I got everybody. Thank you very much, Snugs Life. Thank you very much, Mark Peterson. Thank you very much, Venetia David. Thank you very much, Minnesota Mentat. And over on the Rockfin, thank you very much, Doc Terminus. Thank you very much, Alexander Durnan. Good challenge this week. And yeah, I got to go Springsteen on that one. Edgar Winter, Bruce Springsteen, Donna Summer, Fall Out Boy, Springsteen. Got to go Springsteen. And let's see here. Again, if you want to know what I've been listening to, modernretroradio.com, Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. My music special airs, and it's all just music I've been listening to. It's all just stuff that I've been digging. A little bit of folk, a little bit of punk, a little bit of hip hop, a little bit of political music. A lot of cool stuff going on. I've been listening to a lot of David Rovics recently too. You guys know him; he's a friend of the show. But that's another quick shout out recommendation I got for you, Edwin. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a fun list. All right. So what's up? Thank you guys for being here. And Dr. G, who cares? People who ask me care. And if you don't care, leave. This is the patron stream. This is the stream where it's casual. It's not planned ahead of time. And I just respond to what people want to talk about, what people ask me. And if it's not of interest to you, go elsewhere. That's the way to do it. That's who cares? The people who asked. The people who asked, hey, Ron, what are you listening to? They care. And yeah, this is the stream where I might talk about music. I might talk about my cats. I might talk about touring. I might talk about all that stuff. And if you don't like it, don't tune in. Nobody loses sleep over anything. You could have signed off and watched something else in the time it took you to make that comment. We live in a world of unlimited content. Why? Why? And honestly, I'm just asking, why would you bother? Like, why would you bother, like, disapproving of something? Just watch something else. Unlimited content. Unlimited content. You could watch anything. You could watch a TikTok video of somebody tying their shoes right now if you wanted to. You could watch, you could learn how to play guitar. You could learn how to cook something. You could get like an amazing recipe for something right now. You could do it right now. You could do it right now. But instead, you're like, I don't like, he's talking about music. I don't like that. What a waste of time. Just saying. Just saying. You could take a film class right now. I'm taking a film class online. And hopefully I learn something. I got to do something about this reflection. I know it. I got to do something about this friction reflection here. But yeah. So there you go. Thank you very much again, Minnesota Mencat, Venetia, Mark Peterson, Snugs Life, and over on the Rochfin, Doc Terminus, and Alexander Durnan. Thank you guys very much. All right. That concludes this week's Patreon. Oh, and of course, for the topics, thank you, George. Which, by the way, podcast by George. Look it up. Proof that the Ron theme songs freaking work. They work, my friends. And Edwin, thank you very much for the topic. And I hope I gave you some fun listener recommendations. And again, for the extensive listener recommendations, listen to the music directly at modernretroradio.com on Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. Tune in. It's going to be fun. And also, still working on the movie. Should have some news for that very soon. And if you want to watch my movie trailer and consider making a contribution, go to GoFundMe.com, type in Left at Wall, and you can check out that trailer. And if you think, man, I want this movie to be made, then you can make a contribution to help get it made. I'll put it in the chat too anyway. Here we go. Boom. Boom. There we go. And I'll put it in here too. Boom. All right. And by the way, this stream again goes out to everyone, but it is only available for Patreon and Rockfin Premium members afterwards for the replay. And if you're thinking, Ron, I want to be a patron. I like what you do. I want to help keep it on the air. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Ron, that sounds cool. How much does it cost? It's a give what you can level. You mean you don't have tiers? Nope. I don't have tiers. So whatever level I'm comfortable giving with, that's all it costs. Yeah, whatever you're comfortable giving with. Even $1 a month? Totally. Even $1 a month. What all do I get for that? Well, you get the replay of this stream and all other patron streams. I do Zoom shows just for my patrons, so you get to tune into those. I also will make you a theme song. You'll make me a theme song? Yep. You just tell me what you want in it, and I'll make you a theme song. That sounds awesome. I can get all that for a give what you can level. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. Yeah, it's a fun time. I enjoy it. We all enjoy it. It's a really cool thing. I'm going to sign up today. Cool. Patreon.com/Ron Placone. Thank you guys so much. None of this would be possible without you. None of it. None of it. Thank you, Venetia, Snugs, Mark Peterson. Thank you, Minnesota Mentat. And I will see you all soon. I will see you all very soon. And thank you very much, George and Edwin, for this week's topics. And thank you very much, Doc Terminus and Alexander for the Rockfin tips. And of course, Alexander, for this week's challenge. I always enjoy it. They're very creative. I appreciate it very much. Thank you guys so much for being here. Have a good weekend. And you know the drill. Lucy, she likes this bag. There's this bag she really likes. We're going to keep tabs on the walking thing. Her harness should come in soon. It should be coming in the mail soon. I'll be following up on this. I'll be giving y'all play-by-play. But Lucy, she says meow, and I say peace. Peace.